Hey man, welcome back. I'm in Denver, Colorado, in a ballroom of the big hotel that was just moments ago full. A beehive of nonprofit colleagues, 500 brought together by the Colorado Nonprofit Association to hear yours truly talk about the nonprofit's role in the economic rebuild of America, but more importantly, our role in the political process. Last week, you all know that I visited Connecticut, where I've interviewed Deb Heinrich, who is the governor's liaison to nonprofits. Today, I'm joined by my Facebook friend and buddy, Dace West, who was former Mayor Hickenlooper's head of the Office of Strategic Partnerships, and he has moved on to the governor's office, and while she is here in Denver. But I'm really intrigued because, you know, this idea of a point person for philanthropy, I think, is an essential part of what must happen in every mayor's race, every governor's race. We desperately need this. But it's just a handful of cities. I mean, we talked a little bit about that like Seattle was kind of the model you all based upon. There's just a handful of cities, but what are some of the things that you like? Well, you've been here for 3 years now. What are some of the things that you think your office has done to really make the nonprofits of the city stronger?
Well, you know, all of our work really revolves around building bridges and partnerships between the nonprofit sector and local government. And so our work really revolves around giving people the skills and tools themselves to build those partnerships with government agencies in a way that's appropriate to create whatever the social piece of social change is that they're creating, more intensively supporting people in doing collaborative work together across sectors, and really helping to leverage the range of resources that we have within local government and within the nonprofit sector so that we're able to create that real social impact. I think some of the things that we've been most excited about, at the end of 2009, we rolled out a whole series of training and capacity building programs to help build the skills and tools for people to get past the process, informational, cultural issues that get in the way of people working together. And what we've seen is when we go back and talk to people 6 months, 12 months later, is that about half of the people who are responding to our surveys are saying they've actually built partnerships, new partnerships with government agencies out of that. So you're seeing impacts across the spectrum, from economic development to community development to social services to environmental issues. All across the board, people are really changing the way that they behave and interact and think about working together across sectors. I think we've had a ton of success in terms of the collaboratives that we've built. We've seen social outcomes from serving 5,000 families last year around upgrades to their homes for energy efficiency, for health, for safety. 2,400 youth who have services now around teen pregnancy prevention that wouldn't have had those before. Hundreds of youth who are TANF eligible or homeless that received mentoring services. So we're seeing those kinds of outcomes. And we're also seeing the ability to bring more and more resources into our community, both for local government and for the nonprofits in the community. We managed our city's federal competitive grant writing contract for a period of 5 years and brought in an average of $10 million extra to our city to really deal with social issues facing our community every year.
You know, again, this is one of the big unknowns in America, that frankly, if you actually did a study of the amount of money nonprofits bring in from outside the city, outside the state, that we would actually be one of the biggest sources of investment in any single community. So again, the ability, what you're saying in effect is, because of this office, you've been able to help individual nonprofits get the skills they need to be a better partner with government. You've been able to add lots more services than were available. You've been able to bring more money into the community. Let's turn it around a little bit. I mean, as far as working the government side, how have you helped government maybe work stronger with nonprofits?
Absolutely. That was a real aha moment, I think, for our office about 3 years ago, was that idea that we couldn't just be a conduit into government for nonprofits, because if government wasn't ready to be a partner, then there was no way that we were going to be able to achieve the kinds of things that we were hoping to achieve. So over the last 3 years, we've really had an intensive focus on not just providing that training, that capacity building to nonprofit organizations, but providing a mirror image set of services to our government partners, consulting with them about how to form partnerships, how to make their offices nonprofit friendly, what to think about when they're coming to the table and their readiness to partner, how to understand the nonprofit world and the real value that nonprofits can bring as not just service providers in the community, but as part of the economic engine of our social network.
It is funny because, both sides, and it's true all over, people are burdened by what they think the other side looks like. I mean, people think, I can't work with government, and I think government people think nonprofits, they're not reliable. So bridging that has been your thing. Right on. Now, before we close up, I'm really interested in Other cities, I mean, we've talked a little bit about, you've gotten a little bit of foray from other communities looking for what's going on. How can we do that? Is that happening?
Yeah, there's about 20 other offices that exist around the nation that we're aware of, either at a local municipal level or at a state level. And I think that number is slowly starting to grow. I think people are really seeing the efficacy of having someone who can really provide that bridge role and really span both sectors, because I think everyone recognizes that to be able to do the work, the real work that we're going to need to be able to do in the upcoming years and decades, we're going to have to get across these boundaries and be able to move forward together. So we're seeing offices that have particular issue focuses.
Yeah.
We're seeing offices that are interested in education, or that are interested in connecting the foundation community with government, that are interested in connecting nonprofits with government,
Right.
that are interested specifically in social enterprise and social innovation. And I think the exciting thing is that they're all directed towards that blurring of sector
Right.
lines and
Right.
how we achieve that maximum impact.
Right on. Well, this is going to be one of the major goals of cforward.org, the new PAC that I'll be opening on November 4th. Is this idea of how do we not hope that happens and cross our fingers that it happens, but to fundamentally go out and support, endorse, raise money for, and get people to vote for candidates that pledge to have that kind of liaison. I'll see you down that road. Thanks again.